Well, good evening and welcome to Town Talk. And Russ will be back in a couple of weeks. Okay. That behind us is what, well, they claim will be the Bauma School.
I thought
See?
that's a model.
Yeah,
Oh,
if we put the actual picture there now, you'd see a big brown pile of dirt,
it's gonna look
you know,
doesn't look that
and
good.
some holes in the ground where they're putting the drainage in.
Uh, that
But
looks gonna look good.
it became an issue at the, well, not an issue, but it was a selectman's concern last night at the selectmen's meeting, because they did, one of the selectmen, Tom Mealy, got a call from a resident in the area. And yeah, the truck traffic is heavy. I mean, I've come back from Walmart and I shoot up that way to get to my house. And I was behind a pretty big truck. I don't know how often they're going back and forth, but I imagine they got to take a lot of material out of there because they're digging a lot of holes to put that drainage in. They got to dig out the foundation, so you have a lot of material that comes out,
Mm.
and you got to get it off site. And then also reverse, they bring material in because you have to, you put gravel around the pipe to cushion it, and they'll be putting, I'm sure, small stone in for drainage and things like that. So it's going to be a lot of truck traffic. I do know, I mentioned last week that there was a blackout period. And there were signs there that had a blackout period, but they took them down. Now, I don't know if they took them down because they did a check and decided that it was necessary. I don't know what the times were. I can't remember. You're driving, you're not concentrating on what a sign says.
Mm.
So I don't know what the times were. I would assume it was when school starts and when school ends, because that's when the traffic is heaviest with the buses and people dropping off and picking up.
Mm.
But they must have decided that, with a blackout period, you're going to extend your construction time because you can't bring any equipment in and out. So, your work is is hesitating in some areas. So you're not going to be able to do that work during that time. So that might be what, and they said, oh, it's working out without it'll work out either way, so let's go without the blackout. So that might be what happened. I don't know. And though anyway, they're going to refer it to the Building Construction Committee because they're the ones involved and to address it. I know one thing, the road's always wet.
Is it?
Yeah,
Why?
it's almost like, I don't know if they keep flushing the hydrants or they broke a pipe or what, but the
Oh,
road is awful wet there.
wow.
I don't know where that water's coming from. Maybe it's coming from where they're digging. I don't know. And they're hauling out the water. I really don't know. I mean, as they say, the road is awful wet. So, but hey, we're committed now at the town. Signed the first bond, $30 million.
Mm.
You will start paying in January,
Oh.
but they got a very good interest rate. At 2.4, 2.5, something like that.
Huh.
Very good rate.
What bank did they get it from?
Bank in Texas.
Bank in Texas.
Well, you're on the open market bidding.
Oh.
The bidding is on an open market, so anyone who does municipal bonds,
Mm.
any bank that does municipal bonds is bidding, and you take the best bid. And is it 2.4 or 5? I can't remember now. But either way, I mean, that's a damn good rate.
Yeah, that's not bad.
No, that's really good. When you're talking over 30 years and it's a fixed rate,
It's like a
So-
home loan.
so that means you're paying a lot more on the principal every month
Yeah.
than paying an interest, which is good because you want to get that principal down. And like I said, so it'll be probably a little less on the tax bill than what was projected.
A little.
Yeah, it's never going to be a lot less.
Yeah.
I think they estimated at 4.5 when they were trying to come up with the figures on what it would cost on a tax bill. They were figuring at 4.5. So, 2% of $30 million is still a lot of money.
Yep.
was it 20,000?
200,000?
200,000.
Something like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
200,000. So
Can't do the math.
$200,000 less per year. Pretty substantial.
Yeah. So tax bills are gonna go up a little bit probably.
Well, they're going to go up quite a bit, but
Quite a
not
bit.
just a little bit. But
Oh.
you know, and they haven't pulled the bond yet for the turf. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, I still up. They're still working on that. So that won't be reflected in January as it stands right now. So right now it's only the school that'll be reflected on your tax bill for now, and that's only half. They're gonna, you know, when you get further down in the construction, they have to make another payment. There'll be another 30 million drawn,
Mm.
and then the state kicks in the difference. So, because we're talking $100 million, a little over 100 million for the school.
Mm.
And I knew that would generate a phone call because the school,
I hope the people that voted for it know this.
well, they were told at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we did need a new school.
Yeah.
The question, you know, do we need a $100 million school? I really don't know. To be honest with you, I have to go by what the people that serve on the committees come up with their answers. They're the ones who, you know, they do all the research, they put all the hours in. So, well, we'll take this call, Miguel.
All right.
Go ahead, you're on.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Hi, Barry.
Hi, Barry.
Hey, I'm glad you're talking about the interest rate for the school. What they didn't mention at the Board of Selectmen's meeting the other night is that yes, it's good that I think it's 2.72 over the 30 years of the loan. But what they didn't mention is that the first 11 years it's at 5%.
Whoa.
And then it goes at 4%, and then it goes down to 3% for those first 15 years where it's upfront loaded interest. So even though it's 2.72 over the 30-year period, the first 15 years, the interest rate is higher on each of those years that I mentioned.
Yeah, but then the interest rate drops.
Yeah, after the 15th year.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean it's good. I think if it's in an actual, if you extrapolate the savings from going from 4.5 to 2.72, you're talking about maybe anywhere between $5 to $6 million savings. But you don't know what
Over the course of
the
course of the bond.
line for the school. So keep our fingers crossed.
Right, that's over the course of the bond.
Right.
So I'm thinking about 200,000 per year,
Mm-hmm.
which is still significant.
Right. So I mean, I just didn't. You could easily be. You think that you know it's going to be 2.72, but you have to remember, like I said, it's 2.72 over the 30 years, and the interest is still front loaded for the first 15, which means that I think the first 11 years it's 5% each year on $1 million, and then it goes down to 4%, and then down to 3% for those first 15 years. So even though this is good news, it's still you're still going to get a significant financial impact, on your property taxes.
Well, if they front load the interest, how was it they paid the high school off early? Because you have to
Well,
run the principal down.
Well, if you remember, Harry, I think the high school was a lot different. Where the Barnum School were borrowing $54 million, and I think the high school, didn't we only borrow like $5 or $6 million?
Well, I know it wasn't that much, but I'm still saying that they were able to pay it off like about 6 years early
Right. There was something. I can't remember all the facts.
because they had the principal go down faster.
Right. I think Senator Moore got involved, and there was some because the interest rates came way down, and with the MSBA, and there was a way that they could pay it off early. But I don't remember all the details, but that was
Well, my understanding was
a great thing. I think Ted and Senator Moore got involved with that.
the upfront payment, that they did, the same kind of loan, allowed them to get the principal down faster.
Right. But again, like I said, I mean, that loan, I think it was, I can't remember, I think it was, I'm not sure if it was only $6 million, and so that's a whole plus of a different color.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying they're gonna get this paid off quicker, but then again, that was a 20-year note, it's a 30-year.
Right.
So if they paid it off in 20 years, they knocked off 10 years.
Right. So I mean, it's good news, but I wouldn't, you're still going to be getting a financial hit on your property tax, and and the other 800-pound gorilla in the room is the turf field, and
Yeah, and the next one coming up is the fire department.
right. Well, I mean, everybody knows something has to be done to the
Right.
fire department.
Yeah, the turf, they haven't gone out for they haven't got a contract.
Right.
So until you get the contract in place, you can't go out for the bond.
Right. And now I noticed they discussed that the town's going to be roughly getting $300,000 a year from the solar initiatives, and also I'm guessing probably another $200,000 on the marijuana things. But the people got to remember what wasn't told about the turf fields. The turf field has to be replaced every 8 to 10 years.
On the marijuana, none of them is open. None of them have opened yet.
No. But I'm saying that's what they're cautiously optimistic that's what they'll potentially get when.
I'm beginning to wonder now because I think it's 23 places have opened now in the state,
Right.
something like that. But on the solar, that money goes into a special account.
Right. Allegedly it's supposed to go for repair of municipal facilities.
Right.
But again, if you look at the town charter, Harry, the town manager is the chief fiscal officer. So I mean, he has a lot of latitude. So.
Yeah, but that is quite specific in the bylaw that was passed by the town meeting. That money has to go into that specific account. It's the same with the
I mean, that's what it's earmarked for. But
well, it's the same with the
hopefully
community
that's what it goes
preservation.
for.
The same way with the community preservation money.
Right.
That I'm on that committee, and we had to assign that money to certain accounts, and that's mandated by law,
Right.
by state law.
Right. Because I think that has to be broken up into thirds. Like
Yes,
a certain percentage goes into
historical, housing,
parks and recreation,
Parks
and,
and
then,
housing.
buying open space.
yeah.
And so I mean that's another additional avenue for resources there. So I mean,
Right.
We'll keep our fingers crossed and see what happens.
I mean, they're repairing the stairway in the town hall,
Uh-huh.
and that the money that paid for it was from these solar farms.
Oh, excellent.
See, so they're doing it with that.
Oh, good. I mean, hopefully they'll continue doing that.
Yeah, because in the past, it's almost like we didn't. The budget is fixed, and there's no extra money.
Right.
So they would have to say go to DPW and take part of their budget.
Right. Well,
to
they've
do
been doing
repairs.
that for 16 years.
Yeah, but but they where they're working on a very tight budget, they would still have to give up some of their money to do repairs because repairs were needed.
Well, that's why we have to keep on getting debt exclusions to fix the roads.
Right. Well, no, they're doing it now without a debt exclusion.
Well, no, the last past ones we had to get debt exclusions.
Yeah, that was to start the program off.
Right.
Yeah, I think it was $5 million.
Right. I mean, it would be nice if we don't have to get any more debt exclusions to fix the roads, but who knows,
Well, the money, I don't think the money from the solar can go to roads,
No, it's only
only buildings.
right.
Building
Supposedly
maintenance.
Building maintenance, but I mean,
But, you run into a situation, there was a problem with the furnace in the town hall we had to repair.
right.
He did put the air conditioning in,
Hmm.
the heat pumps, but that was done with a grant from the state.
Right. Well, no, I mean, hopefully they'll think out of the box and be innovative on things. I mean, that there's no harm in doing that.
I gotta say, when you look at what DPW did in this last season, Benton Road was pretty substantial.
Oh, I know.
That's quite a distance they covered, and fixed the berms as well.
Right. So they're really doing their due diligence on the.
And then they
you know,
fixed
on
the rest
on
of Hill
money.
Street as well. They fixed the rest of Hill Street and part of Goquay.
Right.
So-
So hopefully they'll increase the DPW's budget so they don't have to get any more debt exclusions in the future. That would be nice. But we'll see how
Well,
things.
what they're doing, that the money, that's the chapters, whatever, the road
Chapter
money.
90.
Chapter 90.
Right, but the town roughly only gets $470,000 a year from Chapter 90.
Yeah, but they stretch it out.
Oh yeah. Now sometimes some towns save it, and from the additional, like if they don't spend it all one year, they'll save it and use it, for additional projects. So,
Right.
It's definitely helping, but there was a little confusion at the Board of Selectmen's meeting the other night. Like the DPW director was talking about the sewer division's budget.
Right.
Mentioned $2-point-something million. That's the sewer division's budget, which is differently separate from the highway and the personnel costs.
Right, that comes under the enterprise.
Right. The highway and personnel costs have been level funded at $1 million for almost 16 years. And
Right.
like you said, they've scavenged their budget to help offset other
No,
shortfalls in the town. But
The
hopefully
sewer
this new,
enterprise money can only go to work for the sewer department.
Right.
And then their hookup fee money that
Right.
they get goes strictly to expanding and improving on the facility itself, so it can handle more flow.
Right.
And that designated that way.
Right. And but like they said, they plan on getting some additional money into the sewer enterprise fund on some other projects in town.
Right. Well, they were concerned that they wanted the money from the school,
Right.
but that's the town paying the town is what was said.
Right.
And it is in essence it is,
Right.
but it's also a fact that, the school is going to be adding that much more flow, even though you're taking 2 schools off.
Right.
So maybe what they should have said is, look, we'll deduct what they would have had on there
Mhm.
from what they're putting on there. So what are they adding in?
Mhm.
But what I'm saying, what the selectmen are saying is that if you do add that in, that adds to the cost of building the school,
Mhm.
and the town's got to pick it up.
Well, like I said, the other 800-pound gorilla in the room is they have to take out the modular classrooms, which I've heard
Yeah.
estimates up to $400,000. So hopefully
why
there'll be
can't?
savings with the new school that maybe they can utilize some of that money.
Well, they're going to take them out. They're going to sell them. What are they going to do with them?
I don't know. I just heard that it's roughly between $350,000 to $400,000 to remove the modular classrooms if they can't find another innovative way to get rid of them.
Yeah, I would advertise them, take them away for free.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that somebody would do that.
Well, like I said, maybe there's a salvage benefit to it. I don't know, but that's why we.
Well,
we're
there's
paying,
nothing wrong with them.
Good salaries to these department heads to figure this stuff out.
Well, how about an enterprising person, contractor, take them and make them into housing?
Hey, you never know. You never know.
I mean, that's a possibility. Those are good-sized rooms, and they're well-built.
Right. Well, like I said, that's a good suggestion. And many years ago, I said, why doesn't the town put a suggestion box, in the town manager's office, or put some type of a suggestion referral on the town website? But that fell on deaf ears.
Well, yeah, but you could do that anyway.
Right. But like I said, it's what. Well, they're going to do what they want, Harry. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
But, if you give them some ideas, maybe they would use them.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's a good thought, but it may not be. The thought may be coming from the wrong people.
Right.
So, but like I said, that's still another cost that the taxpayers are going to have to deal with one way or the other. But hopefully, there is something innovative that they could do with that.
Well, look, there's going to be a cost of tearing down the old Bomber School.
There's going to be what?
A cost of tearing down the old Bomber School. hopefully, that,
and but they won't know what that salvage credit is
no, because that varies. And right now,
until they get
Yeah.
rid of everything and sell everything off.
right now, metal is not paying much,
Hmm.
you know, because China's not buying any.
Right, but like I said, there's all the interior things like there might be like I say all the desk and things like that.
Oh,
and
yeah, I
other,
mean, you got
community
even the
might need
bricks,
them
I mean,
that-
everything
that,
has got,
that is more financially desperate than
but
we are.
keep in mind too that there's asbestos in that building.
Oh yeah. That's. I think that remediation was figured into the proposal though.
Right.
But,
Yeah, well, yeah, you would have to, but that's a costly event.
Oh yeah, that when you're dealing with any type of hazardous material.
Right.
That's
Yeah, and then you got oil
money
tanks and,
signs. But
I just want to see this get done because it looks horrible there now. That was a beautiful field.
oh yeah, well, like I said, but I agree with you. Have you heard anything more on them putting up the fence?
I don't know. I mentioned, and it's not in the, we didn't put it in the, we had no right to put that in the site plan review to require it. We required a fence. We don't have we can't require when they place it.
Mhm.
I think it behooves them, once they get all the land work done, get the drainage in, get the landscaping done, why can't you put the fence up? So that,
And it surely wouldn't hurt, the neighbors just suggesting that as soon as you can get that fence in, we would appreciate it and just,
yeah,
and see what, all they can do is ask, right?
right, and call the building construction committee, one of the members, and tell them you'd like to see that happen, and give them some privacy and some quietness from all the construction that'll be going on.
Right. The neighbors are on the front line down there, and
Oh, yeah,
they should be the ones that that get the all the attention first.
I'm sure they weren't happy with all those chainsaws going.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I wouldn't want to have that. You're right in your backyard, and now it's naked right to the backyard.
Right.
So yeah, put the fence up and at least give them something.
Yeah. Hey, you're preaching to the choir, but like I said, I think there's going to be more neighborhood meetings, so maybe they'll bring that up,
Yeah.
But all right, hey, we'll see what.
Most of all, though, Barry, get it done as soon as possible.
What now? Were you at the FinCom meeting tonight?
Yes.
How did things go?
Well, they didn't vote tonight.
Oh, okay. Did they have a quorum?
Yes, they did.
Oh, okay. All right.
I made my presentation, and the opposition made theirs, and that's up to them. But
Mhm. All right.
they're
Yeah.
going to wait until we're having a public hearing on October 8th.
Oh, okay. Is that open to everybody?
Oh, yeah, it's public hearing.
Oh, okay.
And all questions that can be asked and everything, and they want to attend that to get some feeling from the people.
Right.
But I'm also going to have, I haven't got my book with me, I believe October 10th, I'm going to have Kevin Kleiberg, who's a park ranger here, to talk about it
Mhm.
on my other show, on About the Valley.
Mhm.
And there will be the interim park director. We're not talking a corridor now, we're talking national park. It's two different things. The interim park director will be at the town meeting
Mhm.
to answer questions.
A quick cursory review by myself of the agreement. I think it's Article 7. It basically the National Park Service had put into the agreement that they would be held harmless and in a kind of like a indemnification clause to the National Park Service, if I read it correctly, and so that I find that interesting. But
Well, no, I can understand that. I heard that tonight. And I never saw the agreement, so, because I was not I wasn't given the agreement, it was not necessary, it was between the selectmen.
Mhm.
So I deferred any questions on it to the town manager.
Mhm.
But what you understand, here's what they're doing. Before, when they built a national park, the Park Service or the federal government took ownership of the property. We'll take like Yellowstone. They own the property. And there's boundaries, and they say, okay, after this part, from here on in, this is government property.
Right.
In this type of park, which is something new, they don't own the property. They don't want to own property.
Right.
They are negotiating to buy the Slater Mill.
Mhm.
So that would be something they do own. But the rest of it, what they want is a district, an area that could be designated, but not owned by them.
Yeah. But I know, I mean, it's very smart on their part to, to have a indemnification clause on their part.
Well, you do that with anybody. That's gonna lease.
Right, right. And, but I didn't see anything in there relative to any type of indemnification to the property owners or the town. So,
Well,
but maybe I'll bring that up at the public hearing.
The way the bylaw is written, no one enters the properties.
Mhm.
Everything is viewed from the street.
Mhm.
So why would there be a need for an indemnification for the property owners?
Well, I mean, you never know.
Well, no one's allowed to, if anybody enters your property, they're not doing it by permission.
Right, right, right. You know how things go. Somebody wanders onto the property or whatever. But anything.
But that can happen right now.
Right, right. But once the person becomes part of the program, they're inviting people to that area. So I mean that.
Not to their only to this.
Right now, a person has just that isn't in it. They're not inviting people to that area.
But you're only invited to the sidewalk.
Well, I mean, who's going to make sure they stay on the sidewalk, Harry?
Well, privacy laws.
Well, I know, but like I said,
I mean, they can go there now.
yeah. I mean, you never know what can happen, but
If someone goes downtown shopping, they're walking on the sidewalk. They could walk up to the parsonage. They could walk up to the bank. I mean,
right, but that's normalcy. But these property owners are actually entering into an agreement, to invite, like I said, whether it's at the sidewalk or at the curb, to the property, right?
But here again, that's the same thing. If they could do it, the same thing can happen right now. And if someone walked on your property now and got hurt because you didn't fix the sidewalk, I mean the walkway, you're responsible.
Right, and then you have to ask yourself the question: if there's no concerns, then why is the National Park Service making sure that they have an indemnification clause on their part?
Right. Well, okay, that's the reason. Like I said, if somebody walked up to the parsonage,
Mm-hmm.
and they tripped because the walkway was not repaired.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why should the Park Service be responsible for that? They're not responsible for repairing it.
No, but I'm just saying.
But if they walked up there now without it in the historic district, the parsonage would still be responsible because that walkway is what you're supposed to enter the building by, and that's what they would be doing. So they'd be responsible.
Right,
So
but
they're
I'm
responsible
saying
either way.
if something happens, usually what happens is all the entities are sued, but now there's an indemnification for the National Park Service.
Yeah, so you can't
So
include
most
them in the
likely
lawsuit.
The property owner and the town will be sued.
Well, no, you can't. You couldn't include the town in the lawsuit because it's still private property.
Well, who's originating this agreement, Harry?
Yeah, but the agreement is not for the property itself. It's only for a district.
I mean, but who originating this agreement? The town is originating this agreement. So I mean, if the agreement was never entered into by the town.
Yeah, but there's no agreement that you can go into the homes and into the buildings. There's no
Right.
agreement.
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, the town is formulating this whole new agreement. So that's.
Well, I know it's being looked at by Copeland and Page,
Right.
and they have found no problem with that whatsoever.
Well, I mean, it'll be a good question for them. So I mean, if they're willing to unequivocally put something in writing that there's no increased liability on the property owners in the town, I mean, that would be great. But all right, hey, I'll let somebody else.
All right.
Then, maybe I'll see you at that public hearing then.
All right.
Take it
Okay,
easy.
all right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.
I don't see where, there's no, they're not opening the buildings to tourism. So there's no reason for anyone to enter the property. That's my point there. That why would they have to identify them, the property owners, when there's no reason to enter their property?
I think I
No.
was saying something to the effect of, what if there's the occasional wanderer that
Yeah,
just
but then
goes in there?
that could happen right now.
Yeah, so,
And if they do wander like that, they're responsible.
huh,
Because it doesn't specify, oh, you go up to this place, go up to that. But most of these places are public anyway. So they're responsible now anyway.
yeah.
Go ahead, Carl, you're on.
How we doing, guys?
All right,
Hey.
there you are.
I just wanted to say thank you to Selectman Melia for bringing up the issue last night, and they had a good discussion.
Yeah, I'm plugging my show.
There you are. And if anyone came away from listening to what was there, let me be loud and clear. I have one concern and only one concern: public safety.
Oh, absolutely.
To hear Adam or anyone else say, well, if they went up this road or they went up that road, you can't go up another road. I fully understand.
Right, they're taking the best route.
The best route, timeliest route, just the right route to go. I am not squabbling about that. I said I accept that. When I was talking with Selectman Melia, and we've been friends for over 60 years, he might not want to admit it, but we were talking about when they built the new high school.
Right.
I said, that must have been quite the picnic for you down there. So, somebody's got to put up with it, and the town voted for it, and like I said, the will of the people. I'll put up with it, but boy, if they can't put a blackout, or they had a blackout and took it down, and we'll hopefully soon we'll know. Looks like we're pushing the discussion along. Whatever they come up with. But you know what? If they can't deem this a potential public safety, shame on them.
Well, there was a blackout.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, I'm saying if they don't bring the blackout back because they feel there's no potential public safety with the winter coming and the ice, and like I said, shame on them. So let me move on now. I want to say that it was nice that the new superintendent accepted, coming to the selectmen's meeting. It was
Yeah.
nice to hear from her. Do you plan on still having her?
I'd like to, I haven't called,
Okay.
because I'm booked up, believe it or not.
Yeah, I was going to say when you can get a opening or a time mutually convenient for the both of you.
Right.
She also did make one statement that could not be any truer than true about Melissa Walker. I'll tell you, you and I have been around a long time, and that is as good a public servant as you're going to find. She is, intelligent doesn't describe her.
From
She
everyone
is
I
beyond-
talked with that has anything to do with her, she is a whiz
is-
with the figures on, that they have, and they deal with a lot of money.
She can remember back from 10 years ago. She is incredible, does a great job in, being behind the scenes to a great deal. I think she doesn't get the credit she deserves, so a lot of people don't understand.
Well, it's a lot more than just crunching numbers. You have to know what budgets you can take things from and what budgets go to what.
If you want to say there's any, the head brains of the operation down there, it's her. She's done a phenomenal job, and I just think that should be stated. And the last one was on your show last week. You were discussing, talking about Burger King, and you mentioned something about, there's been a fire in there, they're remodeling and all that stuff. I believe mentioned something about Kentucky Fried Chicken. Did you just throw
No.
that out there? Or
I
had
just
you
throwing it
read
out. I
that
said,
as
I don't know if if Burger King, the company that owns Burger King, decides they want to get rid of the place.
Yeah,
They're obviously not doing any work there.
they're doing nothing.
And Kentucky
Nothing.
Fried Chicken wanted to come into town a number of years ago.
Yeah,
But the property they looked at was on 122, but there was no sewer. And so because there was no sewer, they weren't going to come in because for their operation, they have to have town sewer. They can't do on-site.
well,
That has since changed, and now there is sewer in the area, but there wasn't at the
I
time.
ride by there, I don't see any trucks, cars, anything in regards to
Anybody
potentially
doing any
people in
work?
there doing repairs.
Right, that's what I mean. I don't see
And-
anybody
and
doing
that's
anything.
been down, I think you said since June, and you know what? It's probably all of that.
Looks closed.
And you know, how much longer are you going to go? So hopefully, someone like a Kentucky Fried Chicken does come in, and I think it'd be great for the town. So,
Chick-fil-A.
all right, I just wanted to throw those couple of things out there, and thanks for your time. Have a good
Thanks.
night.
Okay.
Good night. Chick-fil-A would be great there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they'll make it available to anybody who wants to come in because they don't want to keep it any longer.
Huh.
We had the bank closed a long time ago, and there's still nobody taking that building.
Well, that little bank that was there, there was never even heard of what the bank
United,
was.
United?
Yeah, it was some strange bank. That
No, no, it wasn't there. They're a good sized bank. I used to be
Are they?
I was a stockholder in that bank. I sold it when they decided to move out of town. I screw them.
But it was a little.
I still deal with them. I still have an account with them.
Oh,
They're in Worcester now,
I saw
but
it.
they closed that branch.
It's like a little house. It's not. Thinking
not a
about that
little-
little bank that's on the back there, right behind.
Next to Burger King.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good sized building.
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe I can't tell from looking at it.
No, it's a good sized building. The vault's still there and everything, and you know, a new bank could move in there like nothing.
Huh.
Everything's ready to go.
It seems like set back though. Seems like it's not.
Well, it's set back because you have a parking lot in front,
Yeah.
and it's set back further. But it's got the drive up is in there.
Wow. It's bigger than I thought then.
Yeah, they got the drive up window. They got a drive up ATM.
Hmm.
Yeah. In fact, when we replaced the roof on here, for American Legion, that's where we got the loan.
Oh, it's a good rate.
Yeah, gives a real good rate. So, I mean, they were doing some business, but they figured they didn't need. Branches are expensive to maintain. You have to have help, and you have to
Yeah.
pay for building maintenance and heating and the lights, the whole bit. Today, you're not going to see many branches open with banks anymore because everybody's doing banking online.
Yeah.
You don't even get a paycheck anymore. You might still get a paycheck, but if
Yeah,
you
just
work,
direct
most companies,
deposit.
yeah, companies it's automatic deposit.
Yeah.
So there's no need to go to the bank. Money's there. You might go to the bank ATM, but
Yeah.
you can set up ATMs anywhere.
I don't even use the ATM anymore. You go to the supermarket, you buy something, and you get some money back.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And people buy a lot of stuff with their debit card
Yeah.
or use their phone. So, I mean, you're not going to see bank branches like you did before. Unibank, because they're part of the town, they have that branch down on Plymouth Corner,
Yeah.
you know, down in the Shaw's Plaza. It might be also that they wanted to, they might have wanted to get Sovereign out of there, but then Sovereign found a place to go.
Hmm.
But yeah, you know, people don't use banks as much as they used to.
Yeah.
Use the ATMs.
Yeah. Even that's gone.
Yeah, like you say, you don't need to go to the supermarket. Oh, give me extra 20 or give me extra 40, whatever.
You got somebody there.
Yeah, boy, we're getting a call tonight. Go ahead, Carl, you're on.
Hello, Harry.
Yeah.
This is from the horse's mouth.
Oh, okay.
7 bids came in for the football field.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
All on budget.
All on budget.
All on budget. They're, either this week or next week, they are going to hire some kind, I don't know what you call it, an engineer, architect, to lay the thing out. And in the spring, the shovels go to work.
Oh, okay, so now, well, once they got that, well, wait, was that that was a debt exclusion, right?
Yes, 3 years.
For 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no need to, that's going to be charged regardless.
Yeah, and the lights that are there,
Yeah,
Supposedly they're going to move them to Rockdale and put them on the Little League field.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, well, that's the word I got.
Yeah, Little League has been
Listen.
desperate for lights for a long time.
Yeah, listen now. Barry, why doesn't he get his butt down that town hall and get on these committees, all right? He's got all the answers, right? Get him down there. He loves to throw a wet blanket on everything, but he seems to know what he's talking about. Barry, get down there and get to work for the town. Okay, Harry, good night.
Good
Let's
night.
get the knowledge.
There's other people in town too that make a lot of complaints but don't get on any committees. You know, Tom Mealy said that to me one time. He says, I respect you because you serve on committees. So you can say something because you're there. But these people that complain all the time but don't get on committee, well, yeah, you know, get involved and see what it's really like. I mean, I don't get a paycheck for the planning board. I do it because I'd like to see things happen and things get done.
Well, Barry's got some good information, though, that he shares. That's pretty much what he does. He shares some.
Yeah, but you know, he's right though.
Information and some
Get on a
knowledge.
committee.
He could probably do good
can-
because
you
he
can
does have a
influence
lot
it
of
then.
knowledge. Yeah.
Right now, I think well, I don't know how many. There's a number of openings on the finance committee. You know, you got to put some time in. You got to put a lot of hours in, but when you get near town meeting, because they have meeting after meeting, they got to go through that budget, and it takes a long time. But you know, if you're really concerned about the town, serve on the committees. We need a member of the planning board, appointed member, who's there for whenever we have something that requires a two-thirds vote of the planning board. They have to sit in on, I forget what they call it now, but you're not elected. You're appointed by the selectmen and the planning board. That position's been open now for a couple of years. Alternate member, and no one comes forward. There's a lot of boards in town that have vacancies because nobody comes forward. Look at selectmen's race. No one runs.
Gotta buy the signs.
If Alicia Cannon hadn't run, there'd be no one serving in her position because no one ran. She was the only one. So I mean, and I wonder if somebody came forward and put their name in, if some of the ones that are already on there would say, okay, I'm all done. I've been here long enough.
Yeah.
Because it all takes time. Me, I just spend my time all the time. Look at how I've been here for 30 years. You know, I don't retire. I keep working.
That's good. Stay
Yeah.
active.
Well, I stay active. Actually, recorded a radio show this afternoon with the hearing guys, professional hearing guys. So, you know, that I had to run over there for an hour, and I recorded my regular weekend radio show about the valley. In the morning, I went up to a place in Grafton and recorded the place that sells the dog bakery. Then I had to run down to see Jeannie Hebert, who was a hard time to get a hold of her because she's always out.
Yeah, she's busy.
So I'm trying to get all these things done in between, and I'm doing all this, and it's my 48th. It's our 48th wedding anniversary today.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, 2 more years we hit the 50.
I heard the first 25 years are the hardest.
That was a long time ago. Okay, we got. Go ahead, Carl. You're on.
How you doing, Harry?
All right, Tom.
Hey, I just calling. I know, these new projects, new school, the new field, and all that stuff. That's going to happen whether you want it or not. But who's going to maintain these things?
Well, that's not a question for me.
We've had a problem like Bomber School, right? The old Bomber School. Nobody
Right.
maintained it.
That's a good question.
Right.
And that's what bothers me. So if they're not going to maintain these things,
Well, now hopefully,
especially the turf field is one thing.
now, see,
Constantly, you have to maintain it.
we've got we got a budget now that comes from the solar farms. And all that money is for maintenance of town buildings as well as the fields. So hopefully that if they need it, some of that money can be used for that. Because, you know, the school committee is going to say, we don't have any extra money. And same goes with the, you know, everywhere else in town. So hopefully this will help. And then we got the, now we also got the CPA, the Community Preservation budgets, which money is allocated to different projects or different budgets every year. And, you know, once that gets rolling, some of that money could be, if it's necessary, could be put to that. I have to look at that. I don't know exactly how that works, but there are ways that can be done, but it's got to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I was just curious because when these things start to go, you got to fix it right away. You can't say, well, I'll wait. You know?
No, you let it go, it gets worse.
And one other question. Have you noticed there's a lot of houses for sale in town?
Yeah, that's always been, because we become more of a transit place. I mean, people that are buying houses in this town, a lot of them are coming from the Boston area. They have jobs where they might get transferred, and so they're moving in and they're moving out. You know, that's the way this community is going. That happened years ago in the other end, you know, closer to Boston. We're now starting to get that flow.
Except for me and you, who die here.
But, you know, that brings up the value of your own home.
Well, I was just curious. I just noticed there's a lot of houses for sale. I don't. Sometimes it's like streaking. Sometimes you can go a few years, you don't see nothing, then certain years, it seems like there's a lot of houses for sale.
Right, but there is a complaint that the market, there's not enough on the market. There's more buyers than houses for sale in some cases. But then that shifts too, because some of the younger people now, they don't want to buy a house. They would rather have an apartment so that they're not nailed down to a place.
Yeah.
That seems to be a trend now, and a lot of moving back to the city. A lot of them not having kids, young couples. They're not having any kids. And they like living in the city because they like their life.
Yeah, that's true.
And, you know, you see a lot of building housing going on in the city of Worcester and downtown now.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, and let me tell you, that stuff ain't going cheap.
No, yeah, sometimes it's more expensive to rent than you just own a house.
Yeah, but they don't want to. But then again, to own a house, you have to come up with 10%.
Yeah, that's where the drawback is.
That can be a problem. Yeah, unless you know VA loan, you can get in with a lot less.
Yeah.
But if you're not a veteran, you're going to come up with that 10%. If you're buying a $500,000 home, $50,000, a lot of money to come up with.
That certainly is. Well, I was just curious what you knew about the housing thing, and you already mentioned about Burger King, so I don't know what's going on there.
I don't know. I wish I knew. You know, I like Burger King.
I like it better than McDonald's.
So did I, but I have to go to McDonald's now if I want a quick meal.
Yeah.
I mean, you're limited. And I think the prices were better at Burger King, too. They had all those coupons every month.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Now you got to go to Webster or Milford. You know, keep in mind, there was a Burger King in Grafton for years.
Yeah, and that's a pizzeria now.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's not unlikely that they'll pull out of there eventually.
And, okay, one more thing. So what you think about what happened today in Washington?
Oh,
Ukraine
you know, I'm
thing?
so tired of national politics. This is unbelievable.
I know.
Yeah, all that is they've been trying to find impeachment reasons from day one. Before he was even in office, they were looking to impeach.
I know it.
And, you know, Joe Green, the congressman from Texas, he was truthful about it. He's made the statement, if we don't impeach him, he'll win re-election.
Yeah.
So we got to impeach him so he can't win re-election.
You can't beat him, so we'll impeach him.
Yeah.
I don't think the impeachment's gonna go. I really don't.
I don't either because I don't,
You'll destroy the country if you do that.
Well, the president of the Ukraine already said he didn't pressure me, so I don't know what they're gonna
Well,
use.
I'll let you guys go. Good talking to you, Harry.
All right.
All right, see ya.
right. Yeah, if she had the votes, she'd have done it right now.
But the guy,
228, I think, something like that.
The guy from the Ukraine said right on live TV with the president.
Yeah,
said,
there's no pressure.
He didn't pressure me, so what are they gonna do?
Well, my question is, if what he did, if they're saying what he did was impeachable, well, how come they didn't impeach Biden? He did exactly the same thing.
They did.
And he actually exercised it. He told them right now, he told them,
Yeah.
you either do what I'm telling you to do, or you're not going to get the money.
It's a terrible.
And he bragged
terrible,
about doing it.
terrible situation over there in that town.
I mean, there was nothing there that Trump said, if you don't do it, I'll not give you the money. He didn't say that.
Well, you got the president saying he didn't pressure him, so it's like if you got
Right.
the guy himself saying it, what are they
Right,
gonna
where
use?
Biden did pressure him.
Yeah. So
Told him right out. Either fire the guy, or, and what was the guy doing? He was investigating Biden's son.
they just don't like the guy.
Yeah.
They don't like him, acting like children.
But I'm so tired of national politics now. It's gotten so,
Probably a lot of people are.
yeah.
Makes people very anxious.
I'm just, as far as I'm concerned, things are going well for me.
A lot of things are going well for the whole country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are getting raises they hadn't gotten in years.
Yeah.
Business is good. What do I got to complain about?
No.
You know, I mean, and when I look at some of these people running, they want to raise taxes
Yeah.
immediately. I don't want them screwing with my Medicare and giving it to everybody, because when they give it to everybody, I'm going to have less, because it's going to cost a lot more. So they're going to say, okay, well, we got to, Medicare is not going to cover this, not going to cover this anymore, because we need the money, because we're going to spread it around now.
Mm.
Well, you're going to get, the care is going to go way down. I mean, and I don't have just Medicare. I have supplemental insurance as well. So I cover myself. What other people do the same thing.
Mm.
Why should the government have to pay it all? And I would have done that if Medicare didn't exist. I would have had supplemental. I would have kept health insurance.
Make sure you go out and vote.
Yeah. You know, buying votes is not the way to get elected.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
offering to do everything for everybody, like that, like Yang is saying, I'm going to give everybody $1,000 a month for nothing.
That sounds good.
I mean, I'd like to get that $1,000 a month. I'd be glad to get
Somebody's got to pay
But
it.
where's it going to come from? You know, with 350 million people in the country,
They're going to give it to you, they're going to take it away, give it to the other guy, and just keep
Yeah.
it going.
right? I mean,
Everybody eventually will get $1,000. It's just going to be taken away.
the more you give away, the more you're going to get people to take it. Look what's happened in California with the homeless.
Oh, it's
They
terrible.
told them they can come live on the sidewalk. Now there's no place left. The sidewalks are covered.
The businesses are suffering over there.
Yeah,
Well, they asked for it.
yeah,
You vote for the government that you deserve.
exactly.
You deserve the government that you vote for.
But there's so many things that the Congress should be working on, and they're going to spend all their time working on impeachment.
They're just possessed with hatred that they can't do anything. It's just a problem. It's just a mental
Yep.
situation.
Yeah, it is.
Just hate the guy.
Why worry about it? Is an election in a year and a half, less than a year. In about a year now.
But they hate the guy, and he keeps on poking them too. So
I know.
they like him less.
But you gotta just wait a year.
Yeah.
If the people don't like him, but they know he'll get, they're pretty confident he's going to get reelected.
Well, if the people don't like the progress that has been made in this country, then by all means they should vote Democrat.
Well, it's come down, do you want to keep the system we have, or do you want a communist system? Because that's what all these people running are talking about.
socialists.
Yeah,
Yeah, but they don't know what socialism is.
yeah.
they
What did
knew,
get?
they wouldn't
What did,
vote
what
for
did it
it.
get Venezuela?
Yeah, exactly.
One of the richest countries in South America at one time.
Yep, I was there.
Yeah. You imagine where it'd be if they hadn't tried that socialist government?
Well, that's the thing, that people got duped into thinking that it would be great for them.
Yeah, because it sounds good.
Yeah. But now
Oh,
look
you'll
at
have
it.
everything.
It's very hard to get out of it too, once you're in it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because then the leadership gets control and they don't want to give it up.
Yep.
Once they get control, they don't want to give it up.
I was just talking to a lady from Venezuela about a couple of weeks ago. She told me that her mother was a professor there. They came here to the United States, and as soon as the first guy, Chavez, took power, the first thing he did was eliminated all the pensions for all of them.
Yeah, because there's no money.
Yeah.
See, that's what happens. You can only give out so much and then it runs out.
Yeah.
And when you don't have anybody creating money, you have no money left.
And the other thing that they did was, one of the first things that they did also was take away all the weapons from the citizens, have them turn them in.
Yeah. What are we hearing now?
Same thing. People,
Yeah.
sometimes people wake up when it's too late. That's the problem. But they should learn their lesson from looking at currently in places that promise all those things on the socialism.
Yeah, show me a socialistic country that got a good standard of living.
Well, I think it's going to be different. That's the thing. They think it's going to
Yeah.
be like a Democrat socialism.
But it hasn't happened.
Maybe
It hasn't been
maybe it's
different
better.
anywhere else. And don't compare it to, countries like Sweden and Norway. Then Norway is trying to change
Yeah. It's just-
because they're on the verge of bankruptcy. But they're not socialists. That's not socialist government. They have some things the government does, but very limited, and they have very small populations too. So it's easier for them to do a lot of the things that they do.
It's pretty scary, but people don't realize the truth until it hits them in the head.
Right.
So hopefully that won't have to happen. But if it happens, they'll find out.
Yeah, but then it's too late.
That's the way sometimes it's got to be. Sometimes,
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't happen, like I said. But if it happens, it'll be a good lesson for a long time.
But it'd be so hard, like you said, it's so hard to get it back.
It is hard to get it back. And here's the thing: that Venezuela was a super rich country. It's not
Yeah.
like Venezuela was a third world country.
No, it wasn't. It was a super rich country.
so it's
Oil
like-
money was tremendous.
If it can happen in Venezuela, that was a really thriving, rich, prosperous. You know, this woman told me that they used to say in Venezuela that when Santa Claus flew over Venezuela, that his sack ripped and all the presents fell in Venezuela. That's what she said. That's how prosperous and lucky and rich Venezuela was before socialism took over.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, we gotta go.
all right.
Okay, tomorrow night, my guest is Jeannie Hebert. We're going to be talking about some things that are coming up in the Blackstone Valley with the chamber, and we'll see you tomorrow night.